Hello, hello. Welcome back. We are going to continue with this peachy pink lily painting. And I already mixed some of the colors here, primary colors. And now I am going to come in here, add a little bit of the, quite a bit of the white actually, and a tiny bit of my red. And I'm going to make, I think of it as a ribbon. So I'm going to go mix this way and then come out here, spreading it out. Further along that I go, I add more white, it's a tint, so that I can get quite light. The back, the end of the ribbon has more white in it. Just a little tint. So that you want a gradation of color. And of course, if you want more, you're going to just pick some more from your source. Okay? So we're going to do that, and you're going to, I kind of like the peachy pink, so I'm actually going to be doing that with the cadmium red also, but to this one, I'm adding a tiny bit of the cad yellow light, because I want it to be a little on the warmer side. So I'm going to add quite a bit of white. And some more yellow. I kind of mix my ribbons here with the yellow and white because I'm running out of mixing space. But if I was doing it like I normally do, I would have another strip of yellow, and that is because I want this to hopefully that you can see what I'm mixing. That's why, because I'm running out of mixing space. All right, so now let's come here and start painting. And the purpose of this, just a reminder of this type of painting that I'm doing, is to get your beginning students to feel comfortable to just start putting the paint on your canvas. That's why when I had you sketch it first, or however you wanted to do it with a projecting or grid, so that you can get on and start painting. Now I'm adding a little bit of liquid here to my brush, and I'm going to come in with I wanted to eventually the calla lily to read as a white flower. It's a white calla lily, but it does have quite a bit of shading, reflected color. So that's what I'm doing right now. And while I'm at it, see, I've got quite a bit of green here because it's reflected color from the foliage. And I'm also going to add a little bit of peachy color, a yellow, kind of orangey, because it's going to reflect the colors from the flower. right, so let's see. Now I want some yellow. Okay, some green. So I'm gonna mix my green here and my yellow, which you can't see, but I'll do my greens in this area. Okay, so just put your color in there. Now you don't have to worry too much about your edges. You want to have some soft edges. You don't want it to read as a cut out and pasted look, okay? So let's relax with your edges. Ideally, you want to finish it the same day, but we couldn't do that because of the tape. Now that's a little bright, so I'm going to tone it down by adding a little bit of raw umber to my green. See, right in here. So right now, I'm reading them as a green calla lilies, but so I'm getting that reflected color is what it is. And then we'll come back and add a little bit of more of the white. Okay, let's see right there. I'm looking at my study because you just paint what you see. If you miss, like right now, I'm squinting my eyes and I'm seeing that this calla lily at the very top on the left, when I squint my eyes, it's darker there. So I'm going to add a little darker green in that on the left side. A little, well that's quite a bit. It's not so little, but it's okay. Because that's, when I squint, that's what I see. I see a darkness on the left side of that calla lily. Okay, so now also see a little more of a true, almost a royal green in here. A little bit. And almost a bright green down in here. So I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to that area. Because you're going to want a painting that makes you, you know, turn around, turn your head around and look at it. So now see, this edges is not so sharp because this is further in the background. So if it's further in the background, you remember we're trying to mimic how the eye sees. And so when you look at something, not everything's going to be in complete focus. But maybe your prima donna, your main painting, which is going to be right here. That's the focal point of this painting. And so, okay, now let's see. Over in here, I think we want to have a little more green, because remember how the structure of this flower is like a trumpet. So it kind of opens up like this and almost like an umbrella, and it casts a shadow right underneath. So yet again, I'm squinting my eyes, and believe it or not, sometimes I can't believe what I see when I squint. It's almost black down here, almost the value. So that's why you need to squint to figure out where your darkest darks and your lightest lights are. Mm-hmm. Now I see some more very darkest dark right here. And some of it is up in here like this. So at this point you would look at that and think, oh, I'm overdoing it. After all, it is a white calla lily. But no, you have to trust what you see and go with it. And like I said, when I squint my eyes, I see a very dark area on each side of this almost cylinder looking flower, trumpet flower, I think of it. Okay. And that edge right in there, it's kind of soft. So I'm going to come here with my brush, take the excess off. You don't see this, but I have this paper napkin here, which I take the excess paint off of my brush as I go. Okay, there is a very subtle, well, not that subtle, but it's a soft edges, and the transition is somewhat subtle from that shading to the middle part of your flower. All right, so right in here, I squint my eyes and I notice that there is some more shading in here. All of this is even darker, see? Okay, so now I'm going to come in here with a little bit of white. So I left my white paint to the very end. Oh well, let's see, I'm forgetting this little, there's a little bit of a turnaround, a little kind of folded tip, and there's a tiny little bit. Okay, so maybe darker. I need to go darker. What happens when you squint? There again, it's very dark because it's a very defined edge right there. I just love that combination of the gray and the peachy pinks. Okay, so now I'm going to come in here and I'm spreading. You add a little more liquid to your brush if you're trying to cover a larger area. Now I like to either use a mall stick for support, or just if it's dry, then you can just pivot on it. I want that very sharp edge right there. The white, you don't see it, but I got it. I'm going to put it over here so you can see how I load my brush. And see, you can't see, maybe you can, but I got my little finger over here to give me that support so I can be a little bit steady. Whenever possible, that's what you want to do. You want to steady your brush stroke. All right, so now I'm going to come in here. Okay, so there's a little bit of color shading right there. All right. I'm going to come back and revisit this area because I want to do a little more shading in there actually. All right, so now the one thing. In the middle here. And come here with a brighter green. So, mix my yellow and my blue and now this brush that I just picked up right now, that has more, it's almost white, and as I just keep it that way so that at any moment I can just pick it up and bring out my lights. Okay, so there's that. And I am going to come in here, clean up that little edge. Now, let me tell you, at some point, you may want to, and I usually do, sometimes I'll just flip the paint, the canvas around so that it makes it easier for me to work. But I'm not going to do that right now because I wanted to stay on the camera range so you can see what I'm doing. But don't feel that you have to, you know, you want to sometimes turn it sideways or upside down or however it is that's going to make it easier for you. Okay. So in a situation like this, I like to clean it up if I went over a little bit. Okay, now I'm coming in with some blue that I'm mixing here and yellow, so I end up with a pretty good green. So I am going to do the paint the right side. And with that concentrated paint that I put in, I can just bring it out further to the base of that flower, calla lily. Okay, so now that base has where it almost joins in with the stem. It's a little bit darker because that's casting out off a shadow onto that stem. Okay, so now there is a dark. Remember, your dark is dark and your lightest light are going to make your eye look towards that direction. So hopefully that's what's happening a little bit of that is happening here. Okay, so now I'm going to soften this edge a little as I look at it. And let's see if we can work on the little pistil before, I think that's what it's called. It's a little orange, kind of almost a bright orange. And on the right side, it's just a little lighter on one side. And I know there's a separation where there's an opening in here. Goodness, I even have to get darker. Okay, so the same way that I did this is what I want to encourage you to do over here. Now I'm coming here with my lighter highlight white, kind of off-white, and I waited to the very end to add my whites, right? So that's what you want to do. Don't start off with the white. It's a white calla lily. So your first impulse is to start getting your white and painting it white. No, that's the very last thing that I am doing. Very last. I think this is going to be the second part of the lily painting. I'll let you work on this calla lilies, and I'm going to come back so that we can continue with the peachy pink lilies. Okay? Right now, I do want to add in here, before I leave, I want to add that other little pistil inside of this lily. Use the yellow, a little bit of red to give me a nice bright orangey color, and here it goes. Okay, great. Thanks a lot. See you next time.